Hello humanoids, welcome to Halfling Hobbies. I'm Halfling Hannah, and today we're going to be talking about potions, mostly because I never use them. Whether I'm a DM or a player, I never use potions, except for the general healing potions or health potions every now and again, and I started to wonder why. Why don't we use these like we do magical items? Why do we just kind of put potions on a shelf and don't really think about them? And I think I've come up with a few reasons as well as some fixes so we can start using potions and making them super fun. So, here we go. Alright DMs, let's talk potions. I love potions. I love making them out of little bottles. I love little bottles. I have an obsession with antique bottles. I don't know why. But I love potions. I love the idea of them, and they're a huge part of the fantasy genre. So if you're running a D&D campaign in a fantasy genre, which most people are, potions should be a big part of it. And yet, they're just not. I've found that as a player and as a DM, potions just very rarely make an appearance in my campaign. Other than, of course, the classic healing potion. Your players are always going to be looking for that. When they go into a potion shop, that's usually what they want. But that shouldn't be all that we have to offer them. That shouldn't be the most enticing thing to them, and yet it is in most of our games. And I started wondering, if potions are such an integral part of a fantasy genre, why are we kind of dropping the ball or failing when it comes to potions in our D&D games? And I've come up with a couple of reasons. So here's a couple of reasons why you may not be using potions a whole lot in your campaign if you're a player or a DM. Number one, they're expensive. When you compare them with magical items or things that you can use over and over again, potions as a one-use magical item just don't really seem worth it most of the time, unless it's to literally save your life, which is why we use so many health potions. When you look at these prices, and you don't really know what to do with the potion itself, or if there's ever going to be a situation where that potion is going to be useful, it's just really not worth it to stock up on them. And if you're a low-level player, it's entirely possible that you can't. You're simply not making enough money to afford them. And by the time you get to the levels where you are making enough money to afford them, you don't really need them. You've got a wizard who can cast spells, or you've got abilities like barbarians and rangers. You end up getting some abilities that honestly are better than potions, that you can just use these abilities instead. So they end up being really not so helpful or useful. Another reason why players may not be using potions is they're simply not useful for their class. There are lots of potions available that do a lot of different random things, but your basic barbarian may not be interested in clairvoyance or speaking with someone far away. It's just not something that they're thinking of in the moment, and there's really not a lot of things available for them specifically, at least not as far as the books are giving us. And even though potions could be super useful to our low-level players, a lot of times they're really powerful. That's why they're so expensive. And it's just not right to just hand those out to our players. That can be game-breaking or give them abilities at low levels that we may not want them to have right away, right? It's all about the hero's journey. They need to struggle at the beginning, and having these potions may not be the best way to set the story tone. And I'm not suggesting you simply lower the price of these potions that are in the book, and I'm not suggesting you simply give your players potions. They can be great rewards, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying that you should just dump a whole bunch of them on your players. Here is what I am suggesting. I am suggesting discount potions. Why not come up with your own potions that do something a lot less powerful than the ones that are in the book that can be more roleplay heavy and interesting. This is something that I create for my Patreon, so if you are interested in this, make sure to hop on over to Patreon, take a look at that. But I create discount potions, and I have several sheets of these so that you'll never run out, and you can have these available at some shops, maybe even one particular NPC that is a little bit shifty, a little bit shady, and deals in these discount potions for your players to buy. I've found that these are absolutely hilarious and amazing, especially when combined with an oops chart, which we will talk about in just a minute. So to help give you some ideas of what I mean when I say discount potions, we are going to take a look at one of the pages that I've created for Patreon, and I've given it to you for free down in the description below. Consider it a sample of discount potions, which is another thing you should totally do. You should totally give out samples outside the shop. Anyway, so when I say discount potions, I mean really, really cheap ones. So this is going to be 1 gold or less. You can do whatever you're comfortable with, 5 gold or less, whatever, but they should be really, really cheap. I got this idea off of the 99-cent stores that are all over New York City. They're literally every street has like 10 of them. And all of the stuff in there is okay, but it's definitely not great. And you really question how long it's going to last and the quality of it. So take that idea and put that into a potion. So let's look at number 1, which is the potion of SOL. I hope you know what that means. If not, tell them in the comments what that means, guys. So potion of SOL literally restores you to 1 hit point. It gives you 1 HP. This is awesome, and I picture a party buying a whole bunch of these little vials and like putting them on a necklace, so that when they drop to 0 hit points during a battle, somebody can just run over, grab it off of them, pop it in their mouth, and they're back to 1 hit point. Very much like the barbarian's ability to fall to 0 and come back to 1. That's where I got the idea for this. Super cheap, easy, something your players will definitely want to have on hand just in case. My second discount potion is the potion of partial polymorph. Basically, you get to pick 1 characteristic of an animal, and this potion will give you that characteristic for exactly 1 minute. This could be the gills of a fish, the wings of an eagle, the ears of a bat? The ears of a bat? Something like that. But it lasts literally 1 minute. I really think that this could make for some fun RPG moments. I haven't had anybody use it yet, but I am thrilled. I'm just waiting for that. It's going to be so much fun, both to describe and for them to use. It's useful without being overpowered, and that's the whole point of this. Next up, we have the potion of Find Temporary Familiar. This one's not so much one that you drink, but one that you use. So it could be a magical item, I suppose, but I see it as like liquid suspended in it, and when you break it, the potion is released. So instead of having to drink it, you're kind of like pouring it out. Pour one out for your familiar. Anyway, you break this prism and you summon a cockroach familiar. All of the benefits of a familiar, it's already attuned to you and all of that, but it's just temporary, 1d4 days. Again, very useful, not overpowered, it's just a cockroach, pretty much just good for spying and looking around, and it only lasts for a small period of time. And then my final one, and probably one of my favorites, is the Salve of Disguise, which is you apply it to your face in however fashion you want. If you want a mustache, or if you want a goatee, or if you want a full beard, you put this salve on and it grows facial hair for you, so you can literally disguise your face. Again, not super powerful, but just really fun. And you don't even have to use this just to like actually disguise yourself if you're trying to hide. Maybe your players just want to grow a beard. Maybe they're an elf and they don't grow hair and they want a beard. Boom. Instant elf beard. Even though these potions are super useful and very fun, they are discount, which means they're made with some questionable ingredients. So when you are making your discount potions, a really fun thing to add is an oops chart. These potions weren't exactly made with the best or freshest ingredients. That's why they're discount. They're also diluted, and some funny things happen when you dilute magic. So it's really fun to also have an oops chart. You can roll this every time they use one of these discount potions, or every once in a while if you don't want to discourage them from using the discount potions. But this can be really fun. So I've actually created this oops chart where when my players drink one of these, I roll on it and the effect happens. Now, if you want to create your own oops chart, I recommend making sure that it's nothing too horrible. Definitely don't make anything permanent. All of these things should be temporary. Most of them should be funny and not really have any true consequences to them, but throw in one or two that would be really bad to happen if they were, like, say, in a fight, and they took one of the potions of SOL, and suddenly this happened, suddenly they're blind for 1 minute, that would suck really bad. So throw one or two of those in there just to make it a little, give it a little oops to it. So here are some of the ones that I came up with. Number 1, have your player pick a color. They are now that color for 1d4 hours. Sorry, I'm just picturing a pink barbarian. That would be very fun. Next, for the next hour, you have all of the effects of being intoxicated. Your player is now deaf for 1 minute, or your player is now blind for 1 minute. Both of those would suck really bad in battle. Maybe not the deaf one so much. That one would just be funny. Do you imagine a wizard yelling duck and the barbarian not being able to hear him and getting hit with something? That'd be hilarious. Next up, you have an itchy rash for 1d6 days. Again, that doesn't affect anything, but that does make for some roleplay opportunities that would be hilarious. And the last one we're going to mention, your player has a sneezing fit for 1 minute. This actually incapacitates them, as they can do nothing but sneeze for the next minute. Again, excellent for roleplay opportunities depending on which potion they have consumed. Do you have some cool oops things that could happen with a discount potion? Make sure to put them in the comments down below. I really don't think that potions need to be the super elite kind of magic that is super expensive and your players can only use at higher levels when they're making that money. I think that if we apply what we know about humans, which is we're willing to make money on pretty much anything, I guarantee that there's someone out there who's going to make them at a discount price to hit all audiences, not just seasoned adventurers, but maybe even adventurers starting out. And maybe they even specifically cater to those adventurers. So you'll find them in cities and towns where adventurers are just starting out, and you'll see them peddling their wares, maybe even in wagons in different areas, just trying to scrape by and make a living off of these diluted and discounted potions. And yet they can still be fun and super useful. I highly suggest giving this a try. Let me know if you try it and it's a lot of fun. Tell me in the comments down below if you use something like this or you have a different way that you incorporate potions in your game. Please also tell us. I love that the comments often become a great resource for DMs, so make sure that you leave that down below. If you love Halfling Hobbies and you want to support us, please consider going to Patreon or checking out my website, halflinghobbies.com, where you can buy my ebooks or just browse around at the content that I've created for you. There's a lot of freebies on there too. And you can sign up for the newsletter, where I occasionally send out freebies too. I'm not so great at remembering, but I do try. I do. I also want to give a shout out to my friends over at Fire. I also want to give a big shout out to my friends over at Firelight Fables. They sent me some of these absolutely incredible candles that are specifically designed to put you in a fantasy mood. My absolute favorites so far have been Halflings and Pipeweed, and Rustic Tavern. You can see they're already almost gone because I've burned these so much. They smell so good, and I love to burn these while I'm creating my content. It puts me in that fantasy mood. And if you would like to try these out, use Halfling10 at checkout to get 10% off your entire order, which is crazy awesome. Thank you so much to Firelight Fables for partnering with us to give you guys that discount. You will not regret it. These candles are fantastic. I'm telling you, I use them almost every day, and I'm getting ready to make another big order using my own discount code. So make sure you get that. It's going to be down in the description below. Whatever you decide to do with potions in your campaign, I sincerely hope that you start to use them a little bit more. They can be a really fun resource for your players and give you some really fun options for roleplay. I hope that this gave your game advantage, my friends. And until next time, it's Halfling Hannah here, signing out. Biggest of big thank yous to my incredible patrons. These are all the Halfling heroes on Halfling Hobbies Patreon, which you could join too and have lots of fun and get lots of stuff, because I put stuff on there that I make and I like and it's fun. And there are side quests and one-shots and binder sheets like the discount potions. It's a good time. It's a really good time. And you should join us. But if you don't, I still love you. It's fine. All right.